Hi, Patty. Let me get you in here.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you sound great.
This is not loud enough for me.
Yeah, we have people joining now, so we'll give it just a little bit. How is the afternoon going there?
Good, 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 good. It's
Yeah,
just dreary today.
it's a little dreary.
Yeah, how about there?
Um, wow, it's sunny. I hate to say, we had rain for about, I don't know, over 2 weeks here. And then finally it changed and we have like 85, 90-degree weather. Super hot.
Oh wow.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to kind of enjoy the sun a little bit. But I'm really excited to have you on today.
I'm excited. I'm excited to show you my studio, and I have a lot of exciting things for you guys to see.
Yeah, well, people are still joining here. So I just wanted to do a little introduction. So this is the Thinking of Art. Can you maybe turn your volume down just slightly? There's a slight echo.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah, it's better. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes it echoes a little bit when the other person has the volume turned up. But the Thinking of Art call series is really designed to introduce you to artists and creatives and people that I either know or I really respect in the art world and in the industry. And excited today to introduce you to Paddy Cohn, who's an abstract painter in the New York area, and she's going to take us around her studio and talk to us about her art. So with that, I just want to welcome you and excited to have a conversation with you. Can you talk about like where you grew up? Because I think that people should understand like where you grew up and how you grew up to understand your abstract painting process.
Okay. Well, first of all, just want to thank you for having me, and this has been so great that you've been doing this for all us artists at a time like this. It's really good to get to know what other artists are doing during this period of time. So thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. My pleasure.
So I spent some of my childhood in the Caribbean. My mother is from St. Thomas, and her parents are from St. Barth. So originally, that my mother is a St. Thomian, and I have a lot of family still there, uncles and cousins that live there. So,
All right, St. Bart's.
St. Barth, yes, but St. Thomas mostly.
Okay, in St. Thomas.
Yeah. So my grandmother, I spent a lot of my childhood there. Um, I did not have much. We didn't have drinking water, so we'd have to go and get it from the cistern. We had no bathroom. I used to go to the bathroom in an outhouse. And we also didn't have any windows that had screens. Everything was open. So basically, I kind of lived out in nature. So I was always intrigued by how, and I didn't have much things to play with or whatever as a child. So we just, my brothers and we played outside. And so I loved talking to my family members. My grandmother had 10 brothers and sisters, and I always loved the stories, the old stories that they had to say. I was very
Sure.
intrigued with that. And
So that was part of the inspiration of your process, right? So growing up in nature and the inspirations of your work, the basis of your work really happened because of that. Yeah.
Because I could always look at everything was weathered by the sun, and how I would look at how things were affected by the salt air and how things merged and mutated. It looks so beautiful. So just being one with nature all the time was really, really inspiring. yeah, and then and as far as eating, my grandmother had all kinds of fruits that we would just grab from the trees and eat, and there was all these remedies that she had. You know, if we were sick, you know, go pull this bush and boil this plant, and you know, for her blood pressure and things like that. So it was a pretty special time. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
So somebody said that it's still echoing a little bit. Maybe turn down your volume on your phone just a little bit more.
Can you hear? That's because my space is so big, probably.
Yeah, if I'm too loud on your side, it echoes for everybody else. I think that's better, guys. So if it's still bad, we'll do our best here. What would you say? You know, what are the inspirational things that you've come up with during quarantine? I mean, I know everybody's talking about quarantine and we're kind of all over it to a certain degree, but it's relevant, right? You've been inspired during this time and growing up in St. Thomas and
Right.
the influence in nature, obviously, but now being forced inside, how has that shifted your process, or has it?
It hasn't, because I'm usually inside painting for hours at a time. You know, it's a lot of time to reflect and, you know, really realize what's truly important. And there's, you know, taking a walk has been, you know, like the highlight of your day. Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting watching people, you know, just so many people walk, and when you pass them, they're saying hello now. Whereas usually, you know, people pass you and they just never say anything to you.
Yeah.
There's a certain, it's as if we're all together in this. And just people just waving, saying hello every single time. You know, going to the grocery store is an ordeal. And you would think the cashiers would be angry, but people are so friendly. You know, they have a smile on their face, and I'm going, wait, this is a shift. What happened here? It used to be mean when the world was great. Now the world is falling apart, and everybody's nice. And I believe that people are just realizing how special we really have. What we need to come together. But anyway, I created a few pieces about the pandemic, and I'm actually busier than ever. I have 10 commissions to do right now, which is very
amazing.
Exciting. Busier than ever. So go figure.
So what is your most gratifying piece that you've done so far?
Oh,
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I was commissioned to do a painting, a 12-foot painting, 12-foot by 6-foot painting in a boutique hotel in, it's called the Cliff Townhouse in Dublin, for their private event room. So they, you know, that was the largest piece I ever did, 12 feet by 6 feet. I'm thinking, yeah, that's no big deal. Fly me out. I need my assistant. They paid for room and board, food, everything, paid me.
Yeah.
Flipped out, and I was like, yeah, this is really exciting. And I get there, and I see that massive piece that these like 5 men are stretching, they're building it, putting it together. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe how big this thing is. I can do it. They gave me, I flew in on a Sunday night. They gave me till Thursday to do it. And I painted it in the event room. So it was actually beautiful. You know, there's a big chandelier, French doors. It was just, the whole atmosphere was gorgeous. And I'll show you a picture of the painting.
Show me, yeah.
Here it is. And here's the chandelier.
Wow. Amazing. That's in process, yeah? Oh, beautiful room.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. So
I love Dublin.
The first day in, I had an idea in my head, because you do have ideas of what you want to do, and it never turns out the way you want it, never. But it ends up being better, I have found. So I have this idea in my head, and I got all my supplies, you know, had everything shipped there, and the whole day, it just wasn't happening. And I just said, that's it. I have to I have to tell them I can't do this. And then I said, you know what? I can do this. I threw my assistants out of the room. I said, get out, just get out. I need time for myself. I turned on my reggae music because I play reggae every time I paint. That's what keeps me going. That's
okay.
my.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
I play reggae to paint. So
any particular musician
that
you love?
Huh?
Yeah, any particular musician?
Of course, Bob Marley. You know, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm like hooked on Gregory Isaac right now. So he's every time, you know, he's my guy right now. So,
that's cool.
So that was Monday, and I had 3 days left to do this painting. So when my assistant came back, first of all, they left. I put on my music. I laid on the floor, looked at the chandelier, and I just meditated, listened to the music. I got up and I just started throwing paint, doing this, whatever. They came back and they were like, what the heck just happened? It just started unfolding.
I mean,
and it was about 250 pounds, this piece of this canvas. So in order for me to paint it, I painted it flat, you know, as I'm layering, and then I had to raise it up, and I had to have them, you know, help me bring it up, and I paint, put it down, and I paint, put it up, and paint.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a procedure because I always use textures and layers, and that's what I'm all about, is layering. So I finally got it done on Thursday, and I did not know as I unveiled it. They loved it, but they said, thank you so much. We have a wedding tomorrow.
So in the event room?
Yes, in the event room.
So you had to get out of that room. Everybody that just joined, she's talking about one of her most special projects, paintings that she did in Dublin, in Ireland for this massive painting. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you had to get out. So then what? So where did you go? Where'd the painting go? Where'd they move it?
Oh no, it's actually, they hung it on this wall.
On that wall. Okay, good.
Yeah. So they had quite a few guys, you know, lifting it and hanging it because it's about 250 pounds. But yeah, it's beautiful.
So can you? I want to talk about the Angkor Wat painting, and if you guys watched the stories promoting this call over the last 3 or 4 days, I mentioned certain paintings that we were going to talk about. But the Angkor Wat 1 and 2, that was inspired when you were in Cambodia, right? So can you talk about that experience and what happened? And
I'll show it to you.
And show us.
I was in Cambodia a year ago, right now, and went to it. First of all, it's one of the most spiritual places I've ever been. I mean, I just can't, you know, say any more about it. It affected me so much. The people there are so, they just bow to you. They love you, and you just felt all the love in the air. So
it's just a pure kindness. I haven't been. I mean, it's probably similar to Bali or Indonesia, but
yeah, I just love that country. So went to the Angkor Wat temple, and here, I'll show you.
Can I turn this around? Yeah. Okay. So went to the Angkor Wat temple. And then outside of the building of the temple, and all this.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like bleeding paintings coming off the side of the building of the temple, and it was all around the temple, all these white images. So I said, oh my gosh, I just love this. So I created what I saw.
Oh wow!
And there's
beautiful. How big is that piece? What are the dimensions?
36 by 48.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see.
And how many layers? Yeah, how many layers are on those? Would you say?
Oh geez, I'd say like 4 layers. So you see, I love making things look weathered and distressed, and putting all the rust marks in there, you know.
Yeah.
But I just captured what I saw.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the reception's a little blurred on our side, maybe because of the Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, but it's okay. So talk about like your experience in Cambodia. How much time were you there, or how long were you there?
3 weeks. Actually, we went to Vietnam first and then Cambodia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you do just those 2 Angkor Wat paintings inspired by Cambodia? Or did you do other paintings?
That's all I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like growing up in like St. Thomas, in the Caribbean, versus like being back here in the States and you're in the New York area? Like, how has it shifted your energy? Has it?
I'd say that I go back there, and I was there for the month of February, and it's my happy place.
You were in St. Bart's, right?
Oh yes, I was also in St. Bart's because I'm part of the Artists of St. Bart's. So I did a show there in December, and also New York. Last September they came to New York, so I have my work there in a gallery as well. So I'm one of the artists of St. Bart's, which is I'm honored to be, because
how does that come about? Do you have to obviously know local people, but do the local curators only select artists that are doing work there in St. Bart's? Is that what happens?
Yeah, they select local artists, and family. I have my roots from there, so I'm qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I interrupted you. So you were there in February, and then what was the experience like? It was obviously right before the pandemic.
Oh, I know. I left right before, and as a matter of fact, I wore my mask. Here it is, and I got this in Cambodia. I love it.
That's cool. It's beautiful.
I bought 8 of them, and I gave 4 to my mom because my mom is sick, but I also kept 2. And recently I was wearing this one, and the woman at the cashier said, she was so darling. She was an older woman, and she had one of those paper masks, and she couldn't breathe. She said, "Can you tell me where you got your mask? It's so pretty." And I said, "Oh, I got it in Cambodia." And she said, "Oh, because I can't breathe with this thing. You can see it going in and out." And I said, "Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I have another one or whatever." So I came home, I had 2 of them, and I love these things. I had a pink one and a blue one. And I said, "You know what? I'm going back there. I'm going to give her that mask." And it was like she won the lottery when I gave her the mask. It was really
sweet. That's very sweet, very thoughtful. It's the little things during this time that are so important. And back to what you were talking about, for those that just joined, she was talking about like walking on the street and how just the interaction with people in general is just different, and everybody's kinder and their guards are down because they're just like, we value, we're realizing that we need human connection, and it's so important. Talk about like the sand, and obviously the sand and the paintings that you do and the fabrics that are in that series that you've done. Obviously it was influenced by growing up in the Caribbean, but talk about that series and how that came about.
Which series?
The fabric series.
Oh, the rustic series, or just what I do?
Yeah, fabric rustic series. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So
can we see some of those and walk us around a bit?
So this is a new series. I usually paint very large, as you know. I paint very, very big. But I decided that I wanted to do smaller pieces because not a lot of people have the space for large art. So, I just wanted to capture the moment. So I have these little small 6x6 pieces that it's just like a glimpse of capturing the moment of what I see. So hold on.
Okay,
I'll show
let's
you.
see.
Here it is. So as you can Can you see? Okay, here. They're very,
cool.
this is the new direction I'm going. There's a lot of texture. I use a little bit of wire as well. Oops.
Beautiful. It looks like coral. That one kind of looks like
yeah,
coral to me.
this one is called sargasm. Do you know what sargasm is? That is the algae that you see it's the algae that you see that washes on the shore, you know, on the beach.
Okay.
So this is called sargasm, and then I put some sand in there, and then just a glisten of highlight as the sun is shining on it. So so these are beautiful. Just some of my textured pieces. Here we go.
What was that one with the reception is a little delayed again? Darn it.
Take all of them and just create. Sorry.
What was that? Patty? Sorry, guys, for Wi-Fi. Are you there?
See that one? Okay, we're back.
Yeah. We lost you for about 5 seconds or so because of the reception. What's that piece?
Okay. This one's called fishnet.
What's that piece?
Fishnet.
Okay, cool.
So,
all right, got it.
Like fishnet, and with a little piece of coral that was stuck in the net.
Oh, that's cool. And you attach that to canvas?
No, this is board.
Oh, that's board. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's very shiny. You can't see it, but it's high gloss.
Ooh, I really like that.
Yeah, so you've got the high gloss, and then the worn fishnet, and then a little piece of the fan coral. And it just looks so, it
just reminds you of home, of nature.
Yes,
water.
Yes, all of this. Yes.
Wow, show us more. If you guys have questions, pop some questions up there.
Oh, so here's my studio.
Yeah, it's a beautiful studio.
So the studio is 1,700 square feet.
Love it.
11-foot ceilings. And
such a blessing. Wow, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. And here is a huge easel that I had made for my large pieces.
That's inspired by what, Twombly? Who would you say your biggest inspiration is for that piece?
I can't say. I don't.
Here's a question. What's the largest piece you've ever done? Scott, she talked about that earlier. It was in Dublin, and that was, 16 feet by, how big was it?
It was 12 feet by 6.
12 by 6 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the largest piece you've done, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
But my commission right now that I have for the Hamptons is 12 by 12.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my pieces.
I can't wait to see that when that's
so
done.
That's going to be a diptych because so it's going to be 3 at 4 by 12, and they're all going to go together as one piece because it's kind of difficult for me to
show us some more of the pieces that have more color in them. I love color.
Okay, so this is
beautiful. What's that one?
This one is called. This is one of my pieces about the pandemic, actually.
Okay.
You didn't see this one, did you?
No, I didn't see that one yet. You surprised me.
Yeah, this one's called Immunity. And this is a victory painting, actually. The red is the virus right here, as you see. And the beautiful colors are just the antibodies, and they're just smothering the virus. So that's my take on it.
Oh, Patty, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really nice. I like the white in the middle of like purity. Yes. It's almost like the purity of the person or the energy.
Yes.
The virus is trying to attack it, and it's being blocked. But that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I like that.
And that's the whole idea. It's we're going to get through this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are.
And
What
the
else?
other one, this one here is
Oh, this one I promoted. It did the promotion and marketing before the call. Talk to us about this one. Does that have sand in it?
No, it doesn't actually. Oh, no, it doesn't.
No, but it has like a lot of texture.
Yeah, it has a lot of like fiber texture. So it looks like it's like paper texture that I just layered and layered. And so you're seeing a lot of, and I did a lot of scrapings, and there's cracking. But you could see the textures.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool. I like
you know, I love doing, I love when people see my work, and, you know, it's not only a visual, it has a tactile effect. So you're using two senses, you know, sight and touch. I used to paint flat, and now I just like the reaction that people have when they see my pieces. So how did you do this? What's underneath? You know, it's and they try and figure it out, and it's pretty exciting. Yeah. And so this one's called Unity, and it's about us, you know, the circle of life, bringing us all together, and you know, we're not alone in this. So that was my
That's so nice. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So Unity is that one, and then what's the colorful one? What's that one called?
This one's Immunity.
Immunity. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one too. Show us more. And that's the Angkor Wat. The Angkor Wats are there, yeah?
Yeah, Angkor Wats are there.
Okay, that's a better, because earlier when you showed them, the reception
you couldn't
was kind
see
of blurry.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Show us more.
Well, you know, right now, it's really hard to get materials to paint. So one day I said, you know, I have this piece of cardboard, and, you know, I just made something out of a piece of cardboard, and I you know, a piece of cardboard that is just nothing, turned into a painting.
That's gorgeous. I love the texture.
Thank you. Yeah,
a lot of energy in that. What were you thinking? This was done during the pandemic, obviously.
Yes, because I ran out of canvas, and I just said, you know, I have this piece of cardboard, and I said, let me just paint something. I was just in the mood for color. I just wanted, you know, right now it's a time of, you know, everyone's just, I think color is going to be happening now. You know,
I agree with you.
Yeah, everyone's, you know, it's time to let go of the grays. We want things to be happy now, so let's bring in some color. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you think that you'll go back to some of your painting, like the paintings behind you are more neutral? Have you thought about like going back to revisit some of those paintings? Or do you ever do that? Do you ever go back and say, okay, I'm going to add some color to this?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
I do. Sometimes you know, I have a painting and I sit on it for a while, and then I just start going on top of it again and adding more color. The more you add, you know, I find that there's no mistake in this. You can't go wrong. And I just, as you layer and layer, because there's just a beauty that reveals. And that's one of my mantras. And as a matter of fact, this painting here behind me, I don't know if you can see it. Here, I'll turn it around.
We can see it. We can see it.
This one here? Or
yeah.
I'll turn it this way then.
Okay. Oh, flip it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Perfect. We got you.
Okay. So this is my mantra: defaced, eroded, and distilled. Mystery and beauty remain. So that's what it's all about. You know, there's a mystery behind and a story behind all of the layers and textures. And you know, here again, it's the surfaces that I love that's affected by, that merge and mutate, and it reveals a beauty. And you can see this.
Yeah, we can see the
about me. I wrote it all here in the painting. It's coming out. And
so, no, I love that. And thank you for talking about that. I wanted to ask you too, because you are a mother, you're an artist, you know, you're in a relationship, obviously. Like, how do you balance all of that? Because we have artists, we have collectors, we have, you know, a variety of people on the call, but how do you juggle it all? And how much time are you able to focus on your art?
Well, right now, my daughter is 25, so she's living in Brooklyn.
Can't believe you have a 25-year-old. You're beautiful.
I do.
Good genes.
Thank you. I have a 25-year-old, and she lives in Brooklyn, and so she's on her own, doing her thing. And I have a lot of time to paint now, and it is my passion. It's the way I meditate. I'm very blessed and happy that I'm able to do this, because I've always been able to, and I've always been an artist. I just didn't become an artist. Mm-hmm. As a young child, I remember in kindergarten, I painted something in perspective. I drew something in perspective in kindergarten. I still have the drawing. And the teacher was just like, what? What's going on here? So, ever since then, I knew that I was an artist, because people would ask me to draw things for them. And then I said, hey, I think I should start charging for this.
Yeah.
So I used to, charge something to paint. People would ask me to paint landscapes and stuff like that, and portraits or things like that, and I would do that. So
well, you didn't immediately though get into painting, right? You got it more into fashion, right? And then you have that exposure to fashion first, and then you evolved back to painting.
I was always painting all my life.
Okay.
I was always drawing. So I went to FIT, and I went into fine art because I knew I was an artist. So I just go, if you want. But I went to FIT as a fine artist, and I didn't, when you're, you can't make a living unless later on in life where you're, somebody.
Well, or you have good people promoting you and supporting you.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I decided to study fashion illustration, and that's what I did. Fashion illustration.
Amazing.
And I graduated, and I did not go into fashion illustration. I went into textile design. I was a textile designer in the Garment Center for many years. And I believe that is where I realized that I was good at color and working with different fabrics and different techniques. And that's when I realized that this is what I do well. Really, I should go in that direction.
Yeah.
I studied with a master painter a few years ago in portrait painting, and that is very rewarding too. But being a fine artist, it's a whole different mentality, and you're seeing things differently. You're seeing light, shape, and color doing portraits. But doing abstracts is something very emotional. It comes from within, and there's a certain reward with that. When
that's a really good point, because there are a lot of people that will say, oh, it's an abstract painting, I can do that. And whereas I'm just saying, like, a lot of people that are uneducated or or just ignorant, they don't understand, to your point, what you go through and what artists go through that are abstract painters and artists, because there's so much conscious and subconscious emotion that you're pouring into that piece.
Absolutely.
And I think I just wanted to highlight that, because you can be commissioned, and you have worked in figurative works, and you do have figurative paint. You're a very good figurative painter. And I don't know if you want to show anybody some of that work, because it's not what you're focusing on right now, but she's a very talented figurative painter, and your craft in that regard is incredible. So you decided to focus more on the abstract because of what reason? You felt it was more gratifying?
More gratifying. Not that doing portraits are not gratifying. I feel that it is in a certain way, but this is more gratifying. I don't know if I should say spiritually or just from your soul. When you see my work, you see me and what I'm about. And
you feel it's more authentic. It's more authentic and real.
Yeah. And this is my language. It's really hard for me to explain my work. And I explain myself through my art. And that's how it always has been. I've always been a painter, always been an artist. I've been in my room growing up for years, just drawing. And that was my way of sometimes escaping and sometimes of meditating. So that's what I did. I'll show you one of my portraits. Yeah.
Okay, show us.
Yeah.
So you guys can see what I was talking about. Pretty amazing. She doesn't like to talk about these, but.
Okay, so I studied with a master painter, and as you could see, here's one of them.
Aren't they gorgeous, you guys? Oh, they're stunning.
And one day, I don't know if you could see that one. They're very, one day I just said, and I was inspired by another artist. I said, you know, let me just layer it and just throw paint on it. And so these are all from life.
Wow, you had people sitting?
Yes.
Sitting for you?
Yes.
So, like, how long was the sitting for you to complete? Could you completely complete the piece during one sitting, or no? I'm likely not.
6 hours a day for was it 3 months? I can't remember. 6 hours.
Oh,
and it was just a Friday. It was just Fridays.
Okay.
So, I don't know. So it took
a lot of time.
Because that's a lot of layering as well.
Yeah.
I studied with the master painter. He, there's a lot of, it's called scumbling, and you just layer and layer and layer. And the teacher that taught me was taught by someone who knew John Singer Sargent.
Okay.
So the palette that you see that I use there is 34 colors of skin color. And that is John Singer Sargent's palette.
Oh,
so,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
I love that. So are any of your paintings, have you painted over some of those portraits? Or are some of those portraits hidden behind any of your painting, your abstract paintings?
I painted over them because those were my studies. And I said, oh, you know, let me just layer and put, you know. And that was inspired by another artist. I saw someone do it. I'm like, yeah, let me just do that and try. Just, you know. And now I hung them up instead of putting them in the closet as, you know, my studies. Now it's just more of an abstract, you know.
Well, there's still spiritual inspirations for you, subconsciously and consciously. Mm-hmm. So what is something, or where do you want to go once all of this is done and you can travel? Do you want to go back to the Caribbean? Is the art show in St. Bart's going to happen like this fall? What do you have on the?
Yeah, they were planning on doing something in June, but that's not going to happen. They're talking about going to Miami for Art Basel again, which I'll be involved with. But it's funny you asked me that because I have a ticket to go to St. Thomas on the 27th of May. I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe.
Maybe. I can't wait.
Maybe. See.
If not, I'll just go in July for my birthday. I just can't wait to get there. I just, you know, it's a very healing place for me. And that's the first time I spoke to you when I was there.
That's right.
For my mom.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good energy. Yeah. Was I in New Zealand at the time? I can't remember when it's been a while. Anyway, I've slept since then, but yeah, I think if you I have a question here. Any particular reason for the use of yellow or pink on the portraits? Like you threw the colors on there, right?
Oh, no, there was no special reason why I did. I just, actually, you know, I when I was going to splash the portrait, I thought that the yellow was not so harsh, and the pink was not so harsh. And, you know, I thought that would be, you know, why put red? That doesn't work. Purple doesn't work. You know, those were the colors that worked with the portrait. So, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you done prints? So if people can't afford the paintings, do you have a series of prints that you've done as well?
No, I don't.
Okay. We should talk about that. But the price point is actually really reasonable, you guys. So if you're interested in the works, like reach out to us and we can get you the inventory, either myself or Paddy. What else? Is there anything else you want to talk about or highlight, or while we have this time?
Wow. I don't know. I think
we cover everything. Wait, we lost you.
You lost me?
All right, you're back. Well, you're coming back. We lost you for a sec. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to come into your studio. spend time with you. I know being on camera and being in the live is something that it's hard for you to talk about your work, but you did it in a very eloquent and authentic way, and we all appreciate it. And I'm glad you're safe and healthy, and I look forward to seeing you whenever all this is settled down, and I can get back to the East Coast.
Definitely. Yeah.
So thank you, and we'll have to do another one whenever you get some more paintings done.
Oh, for sure, for sure. When I start,
and we can come back on and like do another one and let people know what you're up to. So
yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you
so everyone.
much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone. Have a great day.